All right, we're here with Ivan Brandon at the DC party. We're going to talk about Men of War. What can you tell us about the title?
Men of War. Men of War is basically, among other things, my end of it is a new version of the character Sergeant Rock that I created with Tom Derenick, and it's basically the grandson of the original Sergeant Rock. Unlike the original Sergeant Rock title and the Men of War titles, it is a modern book. Obviously, the modern world holds many areas of inspiration in terms of war, conflict. So, Sergeant Rock's name is Joe Rock, grandson of Frank Rock. He's an army man, and we're basically trying to find a nice middle ground between the war genre and a book that'll appeal to the DC audience. So it's basically, it is not a procedural per se. There are real elements from there. I mean, there's a lot of realism in terms of the war stuff, but it also takes place in a world where men fly through the sky and shoot lasers out of their faces and so on. So,
well, how does that change war if you are having guys who shoot fire from their eyes and lift cars?
It's hard to explain without spoiling too much, but basically what we tried to do is keep the war aspects fairly human, so that those conflicts are still sort of inherently human. There are wars sort of above ground and below ground, or sort of on the ground. The on-the-ground wars tend to be pretty human. The soldiers aren't super enamored of the idea of superheroes. To them, they are a bit of a nuisance, if anything. So we're basically, it's an interesting contrast because the idea of superhero in a world where these guys don't have those powers and aren't bulletproof and are risking their lives, and we go in immediately with real consequences, with real risk in terms of these guys and their ability to get hurt, their ability to die, and so on. So we're hopefully telling an interesting story about the human aspect of danger in the DCU and how you deal with problems that are sort of the scale of DCU problems without having a cape and being able to fly.
Now, it sounds like you're mentioning this anyway, but war's pretty big, yeah. Ivan. I don't know if you know that. Are you're focusing down on one story, a couple of stories? How are you going to work that?
Basically, yeah. Obviously, in our current world, there's a lot of places for a soldier to have work, so to speak. And so we start out. Our first two stories start out in Northern Africa, not in the same place. They deal with. They don't deal with. Again, without trying to spoil it too much, they do not deal with the wars that our country is in, the official wars, but they deal with some conflicts. I don't want to say extraneous conflicts because they're as serious, but they're not active wars per se, at least in the first couple stories.